Design this website today. I just did this website, completed this, and now I want to show you how I did this. This is a kind of simple website. It's for a gardening project, and it seems like this has a logo. Here's the name. Here's the navigation bar. Here are some search and shop and user profile icons, and here is a banner kind of that can move. And here is the profile section where it's the owner, some name and some text. And here is a kind of section where it is a shop, and it has some place to put the number of things that one want to buy and the button to buy. And these are kind of multiple images. You can have as many images, and it is using css grid, so that's a cool thing in css, and I will be teaching you how to use that as well. So here is a kind of banner that looks beautiful, and it's under that we have some text section that is also using css flexbox and css grid, and here is one kind of image and some text, and then there is a footer. Seems easy, but I will make it rather easy for you. You follow and try to understand what I am doing. So on the desktop I have, okay, also I must show you, like, this website is on the web as well. This is not just on desktop like this. Here it is on the desktop, here it's on the github. I have hosted this on the github. It's easy. I can teach you how to do that easily if you just ask me. And here are some few more websites that are on the github. You can watch the tutorials of these websites as well on my channel. Okay, now let's start doing this. First of all, we need a code editor. I'm using VS Code, the best one. Okay, so here is the main folder where I did this website. Now inside this folder I want to do the website. We will need to create everything once again. So go to the code editor. I'm going to create a new file for HTML, saving it inside garden2 folder where we are going to create this website. Now I have to call this index.html. That is done. Create one more for css, save it, and it should be inside css folder. The css folder contains not just the css files but font awesome as well. You have to know what is font awesome. Okay, by now, you should watch my tutorials, and they're awesome. I have explained everything, how to use and download and all those things. And I'm going to call this garden. That's okay. Now we need to link the css file link. Then where is this css file? Inside css folder. Then we have the style.css. Now we need to link that font awesome as well. So where is that? That is inside css. Inside css we have a folder called far. Inside that we have a folder called css. Inside that we need to use all.min.css. This part is done. Now inside this body we need to create header. Header is given by HTML itself, so we do not have to create a div, and we are going to give it a class of header itself, header only. Now we need to create logo, and we are going to give it an ID of logo and call it maybe GARD and garden. Yeah, garden one maybe. Yeah, why not? And underneath this we need to create this nav. This is given by HTML itself, so let's call this links. And inside this we need to create a tags with a class of not just the links but n links. That will make it easy. And first thing we have, I think, is let's go back to the browser and see what is the name. Home garden tips. It is home. Then duplicate this by pressing shift alt or shift option down arrow. Home garden tips, home, and GARD garden tips. Guys, try to understand what I'm doing. I'm following the sequence. First I am creating the HTML. Okay, then what is this? What I just did. Now this, underneath this we need to garden tips, then garden plants. I think that is the plants plants. And underneath this what is this? What I'm doing? I think I just have 4 links over there. And then contact us, CONTACT, contact us. This part is done. Now we need to create this icons, so we will call it a div top icon icons, and we need I'm not making it up, it is given by the font awesome. Okay, so you have to watch that tutorial, guys. Please watch that. I CLA class, we're going to give it a class of far r, then for dash SERC search, and then duplicate it. Then we need a user icon. Then we need SHO shopping dash bag. Hope this works. Have I opened this? We need to open this inside browser as well, this thing. The icons are not displaying well, so we have to use S, I think, instead of, because font awesome, that is simple, R means regular. Now this part is done. We can style it now as well. If okay, what, okay, I think the header is done. We should style this, why not? So first of all, on the CSS file, you have to do this. You have to remove the padding and margin given by the browser. They are default and they make things complicated for the developers and designers, so you have to get rid of them. So next thing, we have to create a canvas, and canvas is body. How much should be the width? Should be 100% or 100 VW, you mean view width. Height, it could be automatic. It should take care of itself. We do not have to worry about it. Now we have the header, and it too needs width. How much? Maybe 96 VW. And height, we have to give it some value, maybe 100 pixels. And we need to do few things over here. Now we want a bottom border, BO, or the border at the bottom, maybe 1 pixel solid. That makes sense. And but it will still not look good. We have to use font awesome. No, flex box, display flex, and justify content, not space evenly but space between. Now this will do something but not everything. Now we have to do one thing. We have to align the items in the center, but it will still need some modification. This thing is not centered properly. What we do, we use margin, and we at the top we don't need any margin, so 0. Then on the left and right, if I give auto, then this thing will be placed in the center. Now things are making sense. Now we need to style those links, and we gave them a class of endlinks. And let's first remove the underline. So that is, I hate this thing. Why is that coming up again and again? So that is text. Are you making some sense, guys? I mean, try to understand what I'm doing. I'm creating something and then I'm giving the style as well. Now we need to give them some padding as well, because they are touching each other. How about 40 pixels? I mean, they will be spaced out. Yeah, they are spaced out. Now maybe we may want to make them bigger. How about font? What's that? Font size maybe 1.2 ems, and we need to give them a color as well. So we will give the color to the whole this thing. Inside header, whatever that should have a color of green, but not this green. We need a kind of subtle kind of green. So let's come back and see if that has happened or not. That has happened, but these links have not taken the color. What is that? We need to give them separately. So we will color green, and we will pick that kind of subtle green color. That is making sense. We will change the font as well. So we pick the font from Google Fonts, and I'm going to use, what font we are going to use? I'm going to use Montserrat. No, I'm not going to use that. We should use some kind of good looking font. How about this Roboto? But I think Roboto slab is good. That is not showing up. That is wasting some time. I do not want to waste some time over here. Oh, that's not showing up. That is going to waste some time. No, 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 no. Okay, I will use Roboto, no problem. I have already selected Roboto slab, no problem. So go to import and just copy this, now the style, then paste this thing inside the CSS. You can paste this thing inside HTML as well, but that makes things a bit complicated. You have to go a bit smart. Now the font is imported. Now it can be used. Now you have to copy this thing. We want to put this font to the whole body, so we are going to put this thing inside the body. If you want to give this font family to a particular element, then you have to write inside that. Now the font is changed, and those icons, I mean, they are not spaced out, so we have to give them space as well. So they are top icons, top ICO icons, and they are all I elements. So what we do, we give some padding. How about 20 pixels? Let's see if that work or not. That has worked, and it's looking fine. Now the header is done. Now we need to create that that part where it is a kind of two things inside one thing. That is, we are going to use CSS grid. One is banner and other is profile. So we need to create two things over here. So we are going to create what underneath the header. Header is done. Now we need to create main, and we are going to give it a class of main. Inside this we need to create a section, and we call it top uh, no how about part one, and that's good. Now inside this we need two things. One is image img, and we are going to give it a class of banner. That's look good. And inside that we have img folder. We need to put the img, and always give the name to this alt text. And underneath this we need kind of div maybe, and we will call it owner owner. Inside this we need the image, and it is image of the owner. That's good. And alt owner owner. And now underneath this we need, I think, name and text. So h to give it a name of a class of owner name owner name. Call her Sarah maybe. That looks good. And underneath this we need to put some text. So a p tag and call Sarah details. This may not be needed in the class, but it's good. And a lower maximum of 20. I mean, you have to install those extensions on your this VS Code, and these things will happen automatically. You do not have to. Now we need to put button, and we are going to give it a class of follow. And inside this we are going to put like this, no, plus button. So how we are going to put that? Ni, and that is like class for dash plus plus. Let's see if that work or not. Okay. And okay, and inside this we have to put follow me. Hope that is working. If I come back now here, image is there, she is there, follow me, but the icon has not shown up. So maybe it is FAS, I think. Space it out. Let's see if that work or not. That is working. And now what we need to do, we need to style this part one. So let's style the part one. So it's part one. Guys, please try to understand what I'm doing. Okay, display flex, display grid. But maybe we need to style the main as well. And then grid template columns. How much? First the banner should be large, so 2fr. The second should be small, so 1fr. And we need a gap as well, column dash gap. How about 4%? Let's see if that work or not. That has worked. Okay, and now I think we need to style the main part. The main should be here, and main has a class of dot main. So dot main, and its width should be how much? Maybe 96 bw, mean view width. Height, it has to be automatic. Let's not worry about that. And margin, not that. Let's see if what has it done now. Not much. So we have to come back over here again, and margin 2% at top and automatic on the left and right. Let's see if that work or not. That has kind of worked. And now this Sarah, her image should go to the extreme edge, and maybe we increase the margin over here, which is 4% to 6% maybe. Let's see if that work or not. That has worked. Now this part 2 is done. So how about creating this part now? Now first we have to create a divider. That is just a text file, and let's create that. So I come to the HTML, and we are still inside. I mean, this section is done. Let's not clutter the things. And what's that? What I'm doing? And now, what is this happening? Okay, underneath this section, we need to create one more section. That no, we will create a h2 tag and give it an ID. Yeah, divid, yeah, divider. And we need to write like or shop, yeah, why not? And now we need to style this as well. So that is, what is the name of that thing? That is a divider. It has a class of divider and it's an h2. So let's give it a font size of maybe 2 ms. That's okay. And it needs margin at the top and bottom. How about giving it just the margin? How about 4%? I think that may be too much. And where do we want to put this text? No, that has not done good justice to it. Margin top and bottom it needs. So margin top and bottom 0, left and right. I'm still wrong. Margin 4% and 0. Let's see if that works or not. That has worked. And the text is aligned to the left side. We can align it to the center as well by putting just text align and then center. I think this part is done. Now we need to create that thing. Underneath we have the section for the shop. So let's create a div of, no, a section, section section, and give it a class of shop. Now inside this shop we need to create those buttons. So let's call them box. No, a div by the name of box. It should have a class of box. Is the audio source going good? I hope so. I'm using a headphone, just a simple headphone. Inside this we need an image, and image sources img/plant1. Simple enough. I mean, plant, and we need an h2 tag, plant, plant name, plant1. Simple. I will keep things simple. And do we need some description on them? I think no. We are just putting the name and then some boxes. And the first box is an input. It's a text type input. I mean, this will take input, and then we need to give it a class. How about input itself? Then we need a placeholder as well. I mean, something should be inside that. So 01 I'm doing, and then we need a button maybe dot by, and we are giving the class of by, and inside this button we may put this thing. How about this 0.29 by. Now let's see if that is working or not. Have I saved the file? Why is this showing me again and again? This should not waste our time. Okay, I'm on this page, and if I load this, I think I have saved that. That is making some sense. Now we need to style those images. Okay, we need to style the input and the button. So inside this we have this. Where are we? We are inside shop and box. Inside the box we have input and by. So dot input needs a style. It needs width is okay. It's just needs padding. I think padding should be 4 pixels is okay. Width is okay. I think height is okay. And how about height? Maybe give it 28 pixels. And to the button we need to style as well. So it's dot by. It should have a width of maybe 180 pixels. We'll keep them of the same width, but let's see how things are looking now. So how about 28 pixels or 30 pixels? Yeah, 30 pixels should be okay. And a padding of 4 pixels. 4 pixels, that's okay. And it needs a border. Yeah, it needs a border of 1 pixel solid, and we are going to give it black border. And do we need to have a background? Background should be none. We do not want any background. And what should be the color of the font inside this? So the color should be black as well. I think let's see if it is making sense or not. It is pretty huge button. We do not want this to be this huge, so 180 is too much. Maybe 120. That makes sense. And also with that button, this input is too big, so we want to give it some width as well. How about width of 100 pixels? That is okay. Height is too much. We need to reduce the height, or we reduce the padding. If we reduce the padding, let's see what happens. We still need to reduce its height. Maybe 26 pixels. Let's see if that work or not. That's kind of working maybe, but we do not want to give it some 24. How about 24? Maybe it takes 25. I think I do not want to give it any odd numbers. And now we want to display them left to right. We can do them as well. Now the planned one, they need some space. So here is an S2 plan name. So this PLANT plan any name needs a margin at the bottom, so it is spaced out a bit, maybe 4%. Maybe it is too much. I think it is too much. Just 2% will be fine. That is looking fine. I think now we need to space them out. Are you liking this input text or font is small? So how we change that? We use this double dot, then placeholder, and we need to font size. We need to increase the font size, maybe 1.2 ems. Let's see if that work or not. Kind of changed. So on the hover, its color should change. So what is the name of this thing? This is dot by, and on hover, its background should change to a kind of green color, and the color of the text should be white. The border of this box should be none. We do not want to have black kind of border that at that time. Kind of this green should work. Let's come back and if it happened or not. Yeah, that's happening. Looks fine. And if we want to align this to the right side, I think there are many things we can try, but the best thing should be to put these two things inside by box a div, and now I will put these two things inside this div, and now this div by box bu by box can be display flex and justify content space between. How about this? Does it work? That has gone like, oh my god. I think the width of this thing should not be too much. What is the name of this thing? It is just I think box dot box should have a width. Width. How about 300 pixels? That will throw things away. No, but now they are all getting displayed like that. We do not want that. We want this not to be a part of that. This will not be a part of that flex. I think now it is making sense. Maybe you do not want that, then you remove that thing. I mean, I think we should not. Yeah, I will just disable this. We can do if you want. We will just give them some space. So buy button, where is this buying button? This buy button, this can have a margin on the left side, maybe 2%. So this is spaced out a bit. Maybe 4%, as you like it. How about this? I think this is looking fine. Now we go back and these boxes, yeah, that's just this box. We will duplicate them 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we go back to the shop. Where is shop? Have we created the shop yet? I think no. So we maybe dot shop shop. It needs to be displayed as a grid. Display grid. If I come back over here now, they are displaying like this. Why? Because we have to do a few more things. We have to give some maybe I can use flexbox as well. I think flexbox will be a good idea over here. Why not? Display flex. Why not? I think let's try this anyway. Repeat how much? 3 times. Yeah, and should be 1 fr. How about this? Does it work? Yeah, that has worked, and that is working fine. But how about using flexbox? Display flex and justify content space between and flex wrap that we have to, so they do not go out of the screen, they come down. That too is working, but I think these are just 1 2 3 4 5 6. This is capable of taking more than those images, so I think I have given them a width. How if I remove that width, their box has a width, how will it work? Yeah, I think images are very small, so they are going like this. Yeah, we may add few more images, why not? This box, I will just copy it and do. Let's see if that work or not. Oh, it is going very bad. Why it is happening? This should not happen. 1 2 3 4 4 5 6 7 8. This should be 8, but why that is flowing out? We have to sort that out. Display flex, flex wrap, justify content space between, and let me enable that once again. I think CSS grid was fine here. I think I should stick to the CSS grid. I can do it with this as well, but that will waste a lot of time. Now they are displaying like that. Let's enable this again, the grid, and instead of 3, I think and grid rows, we want to put this in the center as well, these this kind of boxes, and they need a kind of margin at the bottom, so margin at the bottom maybe 4% or maybe 6 8% or whatever. Now they are spaced out but not much. How about 8%? Yeah, that will be a lot. Yes, they are spaced now. Now we need to put this shop in the center. So where is this shop? And if I give it a margin, will the margin work? I think we again have to use this margin. Let's use that if that work or not. Margin at the top we did not want, maybe 2%, and automatic. It's not kind of working. This is getting complicated now. Let's see. The shop is displaying like this, and these icons are, and these images are not flowing well. How we are going to style them? Have I done some mistake over here? Inside this we have a shop and we have boxes, all the boxes, and these boxes need the styling. The shop should be displayed like a flex. I assume that should be a better option. Guys, you make the mistakes, then you correct them. Okay, display flex and justify content space around, and let's come back and see, and we have to do that. Flex wrap, flex wrap. Let's see that as well. Why it is displaying like that? There is a problem. Why it is doing it like this? 1 2 3 4. I will do one thing. I will just keep them 4 only, because that is not going well. So maybe I can sort that out a bit later on, because right now it will just waste my time and your time as well, because I'm not finding a good solution how to solve this. Maybe you can suggest me, or I will eventually solve it out, because I have done it already. Now they are looking fine, and when I copy them they are not going well. How about I mean, I can use one more thing, and that is if I come over here and where is this shop? How about duplicating this shop itself? If I duplicate this once again, I think that thing has worked. And now you can just change the image names. 1, and it can be 2, it can be 3, can be 4. Let's see. That's making sense. And on the top section as well, I will change the names, because I mean the first option was not working. I got confused over there, so I use the other one. I mean, you have to look for the hacks. Okay, you have to look for Yeah, if one thing is not working, yeah, why not? Let's try something else. And I think these shop boxes had a kind of margin at the bottom. I may reduce that to 6%. Let's see if that work or not. Yeah, that's making some sense. Now this part is done as well. I mean, these two parts are done. Now we need to put this banner over here. So I will come back just over here and to the HTML, and this section is done. Now we need to create this just the banner, so we will call this I. Do we need that kind of divider? I think we need to put that divider once again. Where is that divider? We'll just copy it from there. Here is that. Copy it, and underneath this end section we will put this. Now if I come back and see, that has come, and instead of shop we may call it something else, maybe, yeah, LATE, latest news or tips or whatever you like. Maybe the margin is very high, we could reduce that margin as well by giving it a different class, but let's stick to it. And what we need underneath we have once again, and we will call that part 3. So section, SECTIO, and section, and maybe call it part 3. Just keep it simple. Okay, inside this we need two parts. One is a div for the left, and one is right. And on the left side we need to put some, maybe we have already used boxes, so let's call this news. Yeah, why not? A div by the news, NEWS, news. Inside this we need what? We need some tag dot name news tag line. Underneath this we need some paragraph, and inside this maybe lorem ipsum of 40. You know how to use lorem ipsum. Either you copy or you install the extensions and things become easy for you. Now underneath this we need to create one more section for SOCI, social ICO, and icons. Inside this we need to put that I class again, and inside that class fab means font or some brands, for dash Instagram, duplicate it, no, what's happening, duplicate, and call it Twitter, TWI, Twitter. And then we need one for Facebook, maybe this new app. What's app? I think this is okay now. This part is looking done now, but it is going beyond the reach. So inside this right side we need to, how about just copying them? Why not? What's the name of this thing? Part 3. So PART 3. How about display flex? No, display grid and grid template. I hope my sound source is good. Okay guys, if that is bad then it will be a waste. So how much? Maybe 2 FR on the first part and 1 FR on the other part. That's making sense. And we need some column gap, COLUM, and column gap. How about 6%? Or it could be some pixel values like 20. Yeah, that's making sense. Now we need to style those icons. What is the name of those icons? Social icons dot SOCIL, social ICON icons, and they have an I. We want to give it some spacing, so padding to the right side 20 pixels should work. That's making sense. And we need to give some margin at the top to the social icon itself. Social icons, they need a margin at the top, the whole thing. Margin at top, margin top, how much? 4%. That will be 4%. So we have to put this thing. Guys, please try to understand. Okay, I'm doing it very smoothly, and maybe I'm rushing, but this is how things work. And now this news tagline, what is the name of this thing? I mean, I'm using a common name. The name of this thing is just h2, just the name needs margin as well. I mean, this is getting stuck to the text, so margin at the bottom, how much? Maybe I think 2% should make sense. It may not work, that's making some sense. Now all you have to do, you know what to do, this go to the right side. There is one mistake. We have to create one more section, one more div that is for maybe r1. Let's call that r1, and inside this we are going to put the content we just created. And now we have to duplicate this r1. Command C, 1 2 3, maybe 3 times. Now if I come down here, they will be duplicated. Now these r1s need margin at the bottom as well. Dot r1. Guys, things are easy. I mean, there is no magic happening, okay? It's just easy. You just have to use the things which are available with you. I mean, it's just happening now. Same with this left part, you have to just duplicate it. So we will come down here. Where is this left part? Part 3 left. Then we have this news. How far is this going? I think this is going up to here, or maybe here. We have 2 divs, so one is closing there and one is closing here, so we have to duplicate this 2 3 times. I did some mistake for sure. Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, and the mistake is still there. So Command Z. How many times was it duplicated? Let's save it now. It is still the mistake. Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z. Okay, now there was a mistake. When I go to this part 3, we have this left part. Inside the left, we have news. Now we need to duplicate this, but why it's giving problem? Let's do that. Yeah, now it's happening. Maybe duplicate it one more time. Now what's the name of this thing? News. And now we need to give the news a margin at the bottom. So how about putting that over here? Dot news news. I mean, they will both get the margin. You have to use smart things then. Okay, that's happening now. This part 2 is done. Now we have to create the footer. Go to HTML part. Guys, try to make sense. Okay, I mean, if you still have confusion, just ask me. Okay, we have to create the footer outside the main. I will be happy, and it will be great if you can support me. And now we created a footer. We gave it a class of footer, and now we want to use just the head inside this. Okay, so we are going to use I, then a class of far for dash heart head. And now we will go to the style for footer. It needs a width. How about now? It needs 100%, 100 VW. Height maybe 120 pixels, and it needs a background. What kind of background should we give? Kind of green, and the color of the text inside this should be white. FFFF. And what else we need? We need to align the text in the center. So text align in the center, and we want to justify that as well. I mean, put that. Let me show you. This is not centered till now. Text line center, line height 120 pixels. Where is that gone? Why this thing is not centered? Let me solve that. Its height is this, its line height is this. There is a problem with the footer. We have to solve that. What happened with the footer? What happened to the footer? FOTR. We will style that again. Let's come back and see where is footer. Now we need to style it. Dot FOTR footer. Have we given the right class name? FOTR footer. It needs a width of 100 pw and a height of 120 pixels and a background of green. I will change that green. Let's come back and see how this is going. It is doing fine. Then what's the problem? We need to give the color to the font inside this. That should be white. Save and come back to the browser. That's white now. We need to put that text in the center, so that is text text. Guys, do not hesitate to make the mistakes. That's how you learn. That's the only way. That's in the center. We want to put it in the vertical center as well. So how we do that? Line height, how much? Same as the parent, not p but px. Now save it and come back. Things are done. We do not like this kind of green color. We want to change it to some kind of subtle green. We could use anything over here, and that is making sense. The website is done. What is left? I mean, everything is done. It looks beautiful. You can just duplicate this and create your own website. Maybe this thing is not looking well. We can put this in the center as well. But why is this not like that? We reduce the width of this thing. This thing. Shop. I mean, these are spaced out not much. How about spacing them nicely? What is the name of this thing? There is a shop. Anyway, the it is done evenly. How about this? No space between, but we need to give them some flex. Wrap is okay. How much width? And I think these are contained inside the main. How much width does the main have? Let's access that again, and maybe how about 92 pixels? 92 VW. No, that's bad. That will just throw the things out. But I think the things are looking fine. I mean, I can just come to the browser, and maybe they are looking fine now. What's the problem? Everything is looking absolutely fine. The website is done. Do ask me questions if you have problems. And I have made a lot of tutorials on making how to make these beautiful websites. Okay, guys, just have a look and try to understand. Thank you and have a great day.